Hey everybody, it's Admin M and Admin Y from I Wish My Life Were an Asian Drama.tumblr.com. We are reviewing we're doing a podcast for episode 5 and 6 for Cupid no Itazura, and we're going to go ahead and get started.
Hi everybody.
So, hey, how are you?
Doing well, doing well. I'm excited to get this episode going.
I am too. This drama cracked me up. Like from episode 1 to episode 11, I died like the whole time.
Yeah, it's just the absurdity of it all, and it's actually a pretty decent story as well.
It is a decent story, but it's like got like an American Pie feel to it. I guess
Definitely.
is the best way to explain it, because it's got a lot of adult humor and, you know, sexual situations that would never happen in real life.
No, definitely not.
This was actually a manga turned live action, so it's not really surprising that it's so absurd.
Yeah.
But in this episode, we actually open up where episode 4 left off with I can't remember the lead female's name. Hold on a minute, let me. Not Moon-chan is the guy, but
yeah, Moon-chan. Her name is, I can never remember her name either.
Asimi, I think is what it is, right? I probably said it. I'm so sorry if I said it wrong.
It's okay. Let me see what it is to be certain. No, not Itazura no Kiss. Cupid no Itazura.
Yeah, Asami. A-S-A-M-I.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Her name is Asami. So Asami's boyfriend, who just happened to be married, and there's my hand, excuse me, who just happened to be married, his wife shows up at Asami's place and is like, stay the hell away from my husband. If not, I'm going to like burn your hand with a hot tea kettle kind of thing. Totally, completely psycho. And she...
Crazy.
Seriously
Yes.
crazy. And she said that Asami was a woman without any remorse, and she's like, you knew I had a daughter and you still did this? You're despicable. And then she's like screaming this while she's choking Asami against... Pronounce for me again, please.
Asami
against the wall and like trying to force her to get her hand burnt over the steam on the kettle.
Which is ridiculous, because like, oh, her husband can't do any wrong. It's totally Asami's fault.
That's totally what kind of pissed me off about it, because I'm like, wait a minute. She did not find out until they were dating for a couple months that he was even married, and by that time she was already in love with him. So I'm like, you know, that the dude's at fault. Yes, she's at fault for staying with him, even after she found out he was married and they didn't have that kind of open relationship. And, you know, it was not just her fault. I'm saying it's everybody's fault. Even his crazy wife, because if she wasn't crazy, he would. What'd you say?
I said it takes two to tango.
It does. And the wife's like, don't you dare ever approach my husband again. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Why are you not telling your husband to stay away from her? You're keeping what you're doing to Asami private, and then on the way out, she's like, you're a disgusting, dirty woman. And I'm like, that woman just needs help. And the husband calls Asami while all this is going on, and then we have the two virgin lovebirds. I couldn't really tell. Did that actually happen? Like when they were in the bed together, or was that a dream that he was having? Is that what I'm supposed to understand?
Asami and Moon-chan?
No, Moon-chan and his 19-year-old girlfriend, who's still a virgin, whose name was.
Oh, you're talking about Reiko?
The second female lead Reiko.
Yeah.
Was that I can't remember. Was that a dream or was that? Oh yeah, that's a dream, because she's like choking. I just turned on the episode.
Oh yeah,
and she's
that choking one. Yes, that's a dream.
Yeah, she's choking him out like Sada did on in the Realm of Senses. That was just like not okay.
Uh,
That movie isn't. No, never watch it. It was traumatizing.
I have not watched it, so.
But needless to say, this poor guy Moon-chan, by this point, only has like 4 balls left, and he's going after Reiko, who kind of makes me feel like from the very beginning she's not really interested in him, that she's not really in love with him, that she only wants to be with him because she's 19 years old and she never had a boyfriend. Like, that's the kind of vibe that she gives me. Where he's really invested, but she's kind of like, oh, you know, this guy likes me, let me go ahead and just kind of play with him while I can. Do you agree with that, or do you?
Yeah, she seems completely and utterly aloof the entire time.
Yeah. Oh, and can we talk about how adorable Moon-chan's friend is?
Oh, yes, the one who is kind of hitting on Asami?
Yes.
Yes. I was just like, why aren't you going after him? He's single.
Like, yeah, for real. Like, I'd have hit that. Like, I'll be honest, I'd have gone there.
He's cuter than Muchan. I don't know what you're talking about.
Really is. And he's got that laid back, you know, like cheeky bugger vibe, I guess is the best way to explain it.
Sho, I think his name was. Yeah, he's a looker.
Right now, oh, and Asami cooking at his house. I'm sorry. If I was his girlfriend, I would be upset with that. Like, you've got one of your homegirls over at your crib, you know, cooking for you and your dad, and I haven't even met your dad yet. Like, that relationship was just a little bit too close for my personal comfort, you know, if I was in a relationship with somebody.
Yeah, I would think that was a little weird, too. So, I don't blame her for that, but I'm not a fan of Reiko in general, mostly because she just doesn't really have any personality to me.
Yeah, she really doesn't. I really like, though, that this drama has, like, it made, you know, Moon-chan's house look like it was really lived in by two single men. Like, if you look in the scene where she's cooking in his kitchen, you'll see, like, garbage bags and, like, a nasty microwave, and, like, it looks like single men live in this house, and I'm like...
Yeah, the theme is, there is no theme.
Yeah. And it trips me out because it's almost like, as you're going through this drama with these people, like with this couple, you know, trying to figure out who Moon-chan's gonna be with, in this weird love triangle, how he's gonna use his balls. That could have been, that applies in more than one way. Like, you know, it's interesting because it almost sucks you into where you are a fly on the wall. Not many dramas do that.
Yeah, definitely not. They always give that era of, oh, you know, this is a perfect family, or this house is beautiful, and you'll never live in a house that's nice, kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. The whole funeral thing, to where Asami and Moon-chan got stuck in the hotel afterwards. Why did nothing happen? I'm serious. Like, I know he was sick and everything, or his cortisone levels, like the doctor said, were, and, you know, his hormone levels were all funky because of him not having sex whenever he needs to be and stuff like that, which kind of is like total BS to me. I'm sorry.
Really? I thought he was anemic. That's what it said in my version, at least.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, then, let's go with anemic, because you're probably right. Oh, yeah, he is anemic.
Yeah.
He is anemic. And he looked down that nurse's top. But that whole hotel scene, like, I'm so surprised that nothing happened there. Like, they both obviously have, like, feelings for each other that they don't recognize. Like, Moon-chan and Asami obviously have emotions there.
Yeah, he keeps her awful close. I mean,
Yeah.
to be just friends.
Uh-huh. This actor had, like, the best job. He got to look down women's shirts and, like, fantasize about them, see them in, like, multiple women in this drama. Like, this dude had it made, man. He just, like, had it made.
Yeah, definitely. He had a good part going.
He really did.
And the other thing is, like, how he didn't really make much of an effort to contact Reiko-chan the entire time he was in that room.
Yeah.
So that definitely shows me that there had to be some sort of emotions going on. Oh, and then there's that random
ball drop.
the little toe in the door thing. Oh, little finger, and then like you're thinking, oh, is this gonna be another? Nope, she just hit her toe. Okay.
Yeah. This drama was definitely written for men by men. Like,
yeah.
But there is still, like, that level of hilarity to it that the women viewers can get to.
Yes, and better looking men in general than you would ever see in something directed entirely for men.
I'm sorry, what?
I said, and the men are better looking than most men in those sorts of things you would watch that are directed entirely to men.
Exactly. Well, the women are not over the top gorgeous either for things that are typically written for men. Oh my gosh, and seriously, this homeboy right now is whispering on the other side of that door so that Asami can't hear his conversation with Reiko. That's just, I'm sorry, this dude is trying to ride two horses with one ass.
Who, Muchan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think he doesn't realize it, though. I don't think he's doing it entirely intentionally.
I don't know if that is entirely true, because the next morning when they woke up and her dressing gown is askewed and you see, like, legs for days and you see, like, boob mounds, he got a little bit too... He got so excited that he lost one of his balls. And then the poor man's stuck with 3.
Yeah, that's true, but I figured I just attributed that to him being kind of a pervert, so...
Oh, well. The reason I said I don't believe that entirely is because this guy this whole time has said that he can't have sex or have sexual relationship with somebody that he doesn't love. So that is, like, that's been Moon-chan's, like, mantra from the get-go, is that I'm not going to have sex with somebody that I don't love. So I guess I attributed his arousal to being, he can't be aroused by somebody that he doesn't love either.
Yeah, I don't know, but then the nurse situation, like when he had that dream about the nurse...
He did, I remember that.
Yeah, he backed off, so it still somewhat follows, but I think he's still able to be aroused by somebody he doesn't like. I think it's more like he'll choose not to do things with someone he doesn't like.
True. And then she had to go and bring up the junior high field trip night where he shot a load all over her face. I was like, oh my god, you don't ever see that in Korean dramas. You don't ever see that in Korean dramas.
It's surprising that out of the two of them, a Korean drama or a Japanese drama, you see it in a Japanese drama, because Korean dramas definitely push the envelope more in general.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, just because of how censorship kind of is in Japan and how, I don't know, like in a regular drama, I'm talking like something on TV, not like a Radabat.
See, I've always perceived that the Japanese dramas were more liberal with the buttons that they push in their hot topics, more so than Korea, because Korea is so conservative. Yeah.
Well, it's just because I think, because in pretty much all of the Korean dramas I've watched, you almost always see like that romantic couple actually get together and like you'll see them kiss. But in a lot of times in Japanese dramas, it'll be like, want to go out for coffee sometime? Sure, the end. So that's, I guess, why I made that assumption. But that was always one inconsistency I didn't really understand, is how that junior high trip happened if he has Nijitama, or rainbow balls. Like how, like did he just develop it one day, or?
He did. We just remember in episode 1 when he was having fun with himself. He shot a red ball, not a red ball, but one of the balls, because he was, yeah, it was a purple ball, and it came up and it shot against the window where Asami was at, and she collected the ball because her and her lover were talking about the whole, myth of the red balls.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, if a man ever, does a red ball, then that's the end of his sex life. And then that was foreshadowing to Moon-chan, and she just kissed him while he was sleeping. That was just creeper. Girl, you need to stop. Women can be just as big of a creepers as men can be.
I think Asami-chan also likes what she can't have sometimes.
I agree. I agree with that. She's crying in his face and he's sleeping through that. How can you sleep through somebody kissing you and crying in your face?
I don't know. But apparently she's not a sound enough sleeper to sleep through someone shooting a load on her face.
Yeah. That nurse had some bad teeth. Like, her teeth were really bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to point that out, but like that every time it looked like she was wearing fake teeth. That's not nice. I'll be nice now. But this whole scene in the hotel room, just like she doesn't really, like, whatever he said he had to pee. Yeah, like, dudes don't stand there looking like they're in pain holding themselves just because they have to pee.
Yeah. I think maybe she subconsciously realized, but she didn't attribute it to him being aroused by her and not him wanting her, so.
And there goes the green ball.
Yep.
Now the poor man's down to 3 balls. And what I didn't understand is, why is he always getting saline solution every time he goes to the quack doctor? Like, I don't get it. Like, what is the saline solution gonna do?
I didn't understand what all of her experiments were. Like, they weren't doing anything because she had no real data. No. She never made any brilliant conclusions about this so far. All she seems to say is, oh, yeah, you're screwed. Like, oh, you lost another ball. Cool.
Yeah.
And like the funny thing is too, she was like rushing it. She was just like, go, go, go. Like, you would figure if you only had a little bit of time, you'd be like, wait until
balls.
Huh?
I said it. I would have the attitude, I'm going to save my balls.
Yeah, same here. Like your rainy day fund.
Yeah.
Something.
And I got to thinking, if I was a man and I had this condition where I could only have sex 7 times, I would, A, save my balls, and B, I would go out and purposely try to impregnate as many people as I possibly could. Like, I would. Yeah. I would try I would have, 7 times and try to impregnate try to impregnate all 7 times.
Yeah. The other thing is the doctor, I don't know where she got her degree and why she was just like, oh, this guy has a condition where he can only have sex 7 times. Cool. Let me waste one of them for science instead of, like, asking him for one. That always just...
that bothered me because she basically just she literally sexually assaulted him because he was like, no, 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 and she still just like wanked him off to the point where he lost one of his balls, and I'm like, lady, that made me so uncomfortable. I was like, well, first of all, the feminist in me made me kind of happy because it was a situation where there was a woman, you know, committing sexual assault on a man. Not necessarily happy. That's not necessarily the right word.
No.
But
curious situation.
You don't typically see a woman doing it to a man. You always see a man doing it to a woman. Mm-hmm. So it made me happy that they were showing that possibility, I guess. That's the best way to explain it.
Illustrating the fact that it is a possibility.
Yes.
So, yeah, that always bothered me. I was just like, you're so unprofessional. Just ask him for one. I'm pretty sure if, like, something came out of me and I didn't know what it was, I would save it and bring it to the doctor.
And don't necessarily think that I would find a specialist from online. I would, like, go to my primary care doctor and be like, yeah, or even my personal, if it came out of me like the way that it did, I would go to the gynecologist and be like, yeah, this popped out of me the other day. I need to see the doctor.
Muchan, you need WebMD.
Well, I wouldn't even check WebMD because they'll tell you you're dying of like a brain cancer just because you got like a pimple on your butt.
That's true. I didn't think of that. So what do you think? Do we think we covered episode 5 now? Want to move on to episode 6?
Yeah, we'll move on to episode 6 now. So in episode 6, we actually, pick up where 5 obviously left off with Asami coming home and seeing her married boyfriend in like the doorway or hold on a moment, in the doorway of her flat, and she goes and runs and hides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have to add, too, that the opening is wonderfully cheesy. I want to be with you.
Yes, it is wonderfully cheesy. And can we just talk about the fact that she's got one of the balls on her tongue?
Yeah, I would notice that. But the funniest thing is it never happens.
No, it never happens. But the animated drawing that they have there, she's got her tongue stuck out suggestively, and it's got a ball on the tip of her tongue.
Yeah. A seemingly innocent photo until you know the plot of the story.
Yeah. Rico just really bothered me. She's like, you were at a funeral? Like, she didn't, like, I called you all these times, and he's like, she gave off the air of being upset, and then he's like, well, I'm sorry I upset you, and then she's like, oh, it's okay, I trust you. And I'm like, dude, really? Like, wait, what do you...
Klingmeister.
What do you say?
Like, I said she's like a clingy McClingmeister. She needs to make up her mind of what she's feeling.
Yeah, she misleads him so many times. Like, in one of the episodes on their first date, she looks at him and leans in for a kiss and kisses him and then gets all butthurt whenever he gets a little bit... Like, everything she does says yes. Like, even as a woman, there is no mistaking that everything she says yes. Like, unbuttoning his shirt and... kissing him, with enthusiasm, and then the minute he touches her boob, she acts like he rapes her, and
yeah.
In my mind, I'm thinking, lady, that you have the right to say no, but you don't have the right to make him feel like a monster just because he touched your boob, because you guys were clearly going somewhere. I mean, there was really no signal that she didn't want it as much as he did. And if there was one iota of a signal, I would be championing her like, you go, girl. But that whole scene just bothered me because she was like, She just bothered me in that scene.
Yeah, she bothers me a lot. I think she just likes the attention.
She, like, turned her back to him and moped the whole way home, and I'm like, no wonder he went to Asami's house afterwards, you know, to get some female attention, because you did him dirty. You just straight up did that poor man dirty.
Yeah, definitely. I think she just likes the attention, whether it's positive or negative, whether he's, like, begging her to stop being mad at him, or whether he's doting on her.
Well, now she, like, later on in episode 6, while they're in the factory together, she's moping, and he's like, I'll say whatever you want me to say, and I'm like, and she's sitting there fake crying, and I'm like, chick, you need to go on somewhere. I couldn't stand, like, that would be like the kind of chick that would just get underneath my skin. Like, I couldn't be her partner, because I'd be smacking her on her head for acting like that.
I'd be like, okay, you be mad. I'll be over here when you're gonna calm down and be a rational person.
Yeah, for real. And they're saying I love you after dating each other like 2 times. I'm like...
Yeah, I always wondered whether it was like the time skip or it was because they were in like this weird honeymoon phase, because from what I understand, they're both of each other's first boyfriend/girlfriends.
Uh-huh.
So...
See, here she goes again. She is literally straddling him on the, you know, from the top, and he's got his hand up her skirt, and they lay down, and then she's like, no, I don't want this. I'm like, you are on top of him. Okay.
You are in the position of power here, ma'am.
Yes. Well, the dad walks in and ends it, but before that, she's like, I don't want this. And I'm like, I don't get you, chick. And then later on in this episode, when they finally do have sex, he's like, don't I need to have protection? And she's like, it's okay, I won't get pregnant. I'm like, chick, are you serious? That is like sex ed 101. Always wrap it up.
Yeah. Followers, please do not take sex advice from these people. They have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, for real. They have absolutely no idea what they are doing whatsoever. You know, anybody who has any knowledge of, like, even 14-year-olds know that they need to wrap it up before they go there. Mm-hmm. That is, like, seems like to me, but that could also be our over-sexualized culture that we learn that from the time we you know, grow boobs. If you're going to have sex, you wrap it up.
Mm-hmm. The sex ed in Japan is very varied from what I understand. Sorry about the 2 double varies right there, but yeah. Like, generally, people will use condoms, but there's a lot of old beliefs about sex, too. I mean, I know from my boyfriend, he actually asked me, like, is it safe to have sex with someone when they're on their period? Like, he had no idea at all about that. So they know basic things, but there's a lot of things that aren't really taught so much, because I think it's just so conservative sometimes that people are embarrassed to talk about it.
Yet they have men that read porn on the tram on the way home.
Japan is a contradiction in ways.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, it's a strange culture.
and you know, back to the drama, Moon-chan and Asami are having tea, and, like, I honestly do not think that I would be comfortable. Like, I would not be comfortable with my partner going to somebody of the opposite sex that's their friend and being like, let me tell you all the the graphic details of my sex life and my, my relationship with my partner. I don't care if you go and you tell that to your closest friend of the same gender. Because, I'm going to be talking to my closest girlfriend about that kind of stuff.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't like somebody of the opposite gender having that much knowledge of what's going on in my relationship. And this doctor, because they had that tea and they talked about his sex life and all that other kind of stuff, and she, like, rooted him on, which she seems to be doing, like, this whole time. she's clearly developing feelings for him, but yet I respect that Asami loves him enough to root him on, because I'm not quite sure I could be in that position to where, you know, if my best guy friend was like someone that I was in love with, I'm not sure I could root him on while he, you know.
Yeah. Usually you would either make them choose or, like, kind of back off.
Yeah. And this doctor is looking at his private bits, literally with a magnifying glass.
Like, not doing anything.
And she's measuring it. And
maybe she's trying to figure out how those balls come out, because that's what we all want to know, too. Share the information, ma'am. Yeah.
Seriously, but what kills me is that whenever she pulled the roller out, it was only like 2 inches long, and she's like, oh, it's that small. And he's like, that's wrong. I was like, I was like,
I love how he's like, by the way, what's this calculation about? I'm like, good question. I have no idea what she's doing. I think she just is like, gotta keep my funding, let me look busy.
Reiko and Moonchan go off on that overnight, you know, like, quote-unquote honeymoon vacation, and it's like basically them running through the fields and taking pictures of each other and, you know, goofing around, and Asami's back at her flat knowing what's going on, and clearly you can see that she is dying inside, because she knows that the guy that she likes is off with his girlfriend. She just has to feel like crap right now. I'm sorry, but there's no other way to explain it. I mean, she's got to feel like crap right now.
Asami got the bad end of this deal with everything, pretty much. I mean, she's got crazy wife coming after her. She has to deal with the fact that knowing that Moonchan doesn't see her the same way that she sees him. Pretty much none of the females in this drama really like her except that one friend she has.
Oh, I forgot that she met up with the ex-boyfriend in the hotel room.
Yeah.
So while Moonchan and Reiko are off, you know, enjoying themselves for the first time, her ex-boyfriend is a jerk. Like, he is a straight-up jerk.
Yeah, he treats her like a booty call.
He does, and then whenever she denies him, he throws her down on the bed and tries to assault her. In this episode. So this episode has a trigger warning for that. And, like, she runs out of the room, and he drags her back, and she's like, no, I don't want this. And I'm sorry, this guy is just a piece of crap.
Yeah, he is. I'm like, why does she want him back? Like, why isn't she mad at him? Because he seems like the worst person here.
He is the worst person. He just tried to assault her, and she has no one to call. She's like, she picks up the phone and she's like, she's thinking about calling Moonchan, and oh my God, the wife is in the hotel lobby.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you know, he's not gonna get any crap for it, but Asami is gonna be stalked now. So.
Now let me ask a question. This guy is looking at condoms. And A, he only has 3 balls left. And B, isn't the ball going to go through the condom anyways? So isn't the condom kind of an obsolete thing to have on there anyways? Like, I'm just asking.
Oh, I figured he maybe thought that... I mean, condoms are stretchy, so maybe he thought that it wouldn't go through. I don't know. I mean, they obviously know nothing about sex, so I'm not even going to question his intellect here.
I guess what I'm thinking is I remember the force in which it hit against the window, and it made
Oh, yeah.
It made a massive, like, tinking noise, and I'm sorry, but wouldn't that, you know, if a condom was stretchy or not, wouldn't it pierce? I mean, condoms break with just regular semen, so wouldn't they definitely break with
A plastic ball. Yeah. I forgot about that. I definitely agree with you there. But then again, Muchan doesn't strike me as being a very smart guy.
Yeah,
I mean, he isn't really doing much with his life at this point, and he just kind of goofs off. Yeah.
Okay, so we have awkward virgin sex for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe of this drama, and then we fast forward to Asami with the doctor in a bar getting drunk. And the wife of Asami's ex-boyfriend overhears them talking about the rainbow balls. So the wife now assumes that the husband can no longer perform his husbandly duties. And then we end the episode with some more awkward virgin sex and some more drunken Asami. So that's pretty much episode 5 episode 5
and he lost another ball, of course, because virgin sex.
So now he has 2 balls left.
And he's only had sex once, by the way.
Sex with another person once. Let's clear that he's had other forms of sexual contact, but none of them with an actual other person.
Yeah.
That concludes our podcast for episode 5 and 6. We hope that you enjoyed it and enjoyed our ramblings a little bit. We got a little bit sidetracked, but overall, I really have enjoyed the drama to this point. It's very amusing.
Yeah, so definitely recommend.
But only if you're 18 or older, because of or whatever legal age it is in your country. I would recommend for an older audience, because it does have nudity and sexual content in it that may not be suitable for anybody under the age of 16 or 18, whichever is acceptable to your parents or you personally.
Not safe for work, and turn your volume down.
Yes. So we will end the podcast for now, and we will talk to you all whenever we come back for the final 2 episodes that Admin Y had to cover. So we will talk to you in a few minutes. Bye-bye.
Take care.